Hi, welcome to the Addiction Recovery Place podcast, the podcast champion addiction treatment professionals around the world. I'm your host, Chris Langley, and I'm very pleased to introduce today's guests, Wendy Compton and Julie Wockenfus from Beacon House in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Wendy has a master's degree in business administration and has worked with nonprofits since 2006. She's been with the Beacon House since 2010. Wendy is also in recovery. Julie has a substance misuse abuse counsellor designation, allowing her to provide counselling services in drug and alcohol treatment facilities. She's worked in dual diagnosis, women's treatment facilities, outpatient and adolescent treatment. She is also long-term recovery. Welcome to the Addiction Recovery Place podcast, Wendy and Julie. It's great to have you both with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
No, I really appreciate your time. And I know that you're both incredibly busy with the awesome service you're providing. So I'm just going to jump straight in with the first question for you both. Can you tell us about both of your journeys and how you started working at Beacon House?
Yes.
Excellent.
In 2006, I was in a major car accident, which I broke my neck, and I was drinking and driving. And so they recommended that I go through a treatment program. So I chose Beacon House and went through the program and was successful in developing a recovery program. And then in 2010, I came on as a resident assistant, and then it kind of morphed into the grant writing position that I'm in now.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Okay, so I joined as an alcohol and drug counselor in 2015. And then I left for a couple of years and ended up coming back here because I love women's recovery. I went to a male-female facility and it just didn't work out. So I came back to Beacon. I've been back to Beacon almost 2 years now. And I, you said myself, I'm in long-term recovery, and I'm very passionate about helping Beacon House residents.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for that. So both of you have come from a journey of recovery yourself, and you've been very involved within the recovery sector for many years. So that's great to hear. Can you tell us about some of the programs that you have at Beacon House? Because you have I've been looking. You have a very extensive program for the women that you have at your service. Can you tell us about some of the programs that you have there, please?
Sure. We have domestic violence, parenting classes. We work with art therapy. We have groups and individual one-on-one sessions with our counselors. And we also have, we do a music group with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Finding appropriate music to match where they're at now instead of the stuff they used to listen to with reference to alcohol and drugs. Yep. We take them to an all-day spiritual retreat once every 3 months. So they each get, and that's really powerful. We go to a outdoor retreat center and we hire a spirituality specialist to come in and do this retreat with the women.
Oh, wow.
We also have trauma-informed care. We send them to trauma counselors, domestic violence. We have meditation, and we also have an exercise group that we do with them on a weekly basis.
Goodness me! So you have a whole holistic approach to recovery.
Absolutely.
That's lovely to hear, and I was very impressed with when I saw on your website the scope of the things that you offer your clients is fantastic. Can you tell us about some of the other team members that you have at Beacon?
Yes, we have 6 resident assistants. We have 2 AODA counselors. We have an executive director, administrative coordinator, and a house manager.
Goodness me. Sounds like you have a very full and very experienced staff members there. So
I would say they're long term.
Okay. So how long term? What's the longest member of staff has been with you?
Ellen was here. We have former clients that have 20 plus years here working here.
Yep.
Actually, we have two of those with the long term. I think one's got 18 years and one's got 20 years, and they've been with us long term.
Goodness me. It shows what a great place it is to work and the great work that you're all doing. That's a testament to your service. It really is, to have people that have engaged for as long as that. That's incredible.
Yeah, very blessed to have this recovery community because that's what we do.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So how do you receive referrals, and what's the process for women wanting to enter your program? How long does this take? And what's the requirements?
We generally take people that are on Medicaid, and they are often referred to us through the county or tribal nation or cold calling. We are listed on several websites as a resource. We have lots of counties who are so pleased with our services and probation officers that just refer because of the good services that we do provide, and our success rate is pretty high.
Yeah,
so, a lot of the word of mouth too. All the recovery community.
Yeah. So, what are the other agencies do you work collaboratively with within your community? You mentioned probation. I mean, what? Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, we're all the different counties with the Department of Health and Human Services, the corrections. We also work with some of the Suboxone methadone clinics where the clients receive that treatment daily, but then they come back here for the rest of their treatment. We have several agencies, or counties, I should say, that are working with the drug court population, and that's very popular nowadays. So, and that's a fascinating process in itself, how they have found a way to help these repeat offenders and have success with.
Yeah. Drug courts are a very powerful tool for people to engage in treatment. I myself was involved in one of England's very first drug courts, so I've seen how this process works, and it's very impressive when you get judges that are very empathetic towards someone's plight with their addiction, and for them to be involved with a drug court. It's such a big winner.
It is, and I was going to say it's actually fun to go with some of the girls. And, he rewards them with a little piece of candy. But that means the world to them on a daily basis. A lot of times they have to appear in court every day. They're responsible to do daily UAs, and it's just a really neat process instead of having the judge be the punitive person that the judge is singing them praises. And so that's a neat process.
It is. It's almost like a role reversal for them, because normally judges are very strict and they don't get to know the people that they're, sentencing. For them to get to have a relationship, a working relationship with the people in their courts, it's a very unique thing, isn't it? It really is.
It is.
So you attend the courts yourself?
Yep. On occasion we go with them.
Yep.
Sometimes the PO requests it. Case manager requests. Sometimes the judge requests it, but being a person in long-term recovery, I really enjoy going and being a support for not only the client that I'm there with, but for all the other people, that are making changes. And that's what it's all about, is making the changes.
Definitely. So how long has the drug court been working in your county? How long has it been going for?
Gosh. Well, a good 8 years.
Yeah. Wow.
For our county right here. I know the neighboring county, Winnebago County, they'd had theirs for over 15 years.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a, what do I want to say? It's kind of like the guinea pig. They didn't really know what they were doing, but they thought they wanted to give it a chance. And it's turned out very well for all the communities surrounding us.
Yeah. Can make a big difference, can't it? Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I love that model. I really do. I think I've seen it work myself, so I understand how powerful it can be. So what I'm going to move on to your clients very briefly here, but what do you see as some of the biggest challenges that women face who have addictions? I mean, there's such a wide variety of issues that come up with,
Mhm.
especially within
Well,
this.
what are our biggest ones here in the Fond du Lac County is we do not have sober living. So when they get done with our 90-day treatment program, we don't have anything in this county to send them to. And we've gone to the county, we've gone to the board, you know, beg, borrow, steal. I said, there's got to be someone that's got an abandoned house
Mm.
that will let us purchase it reasonable
Mhm.
so we can house these women after we get done with treatment. So as a therapist, that's a huge part of my job is spent trying to find these girls somewhere to go.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Because one of the other questions I was going to ask you, because when someone completes the program, what follow-up care and support is there? Because I know it was the 90-day limit, but what, you just explaining the troubles that your clients
mhm.
have after they've left treatment. I mean, how do you overcome that? I mean, as an agency yourself?
So one of the programs, and this goes way back to Wendy's era, we call it transitions. And every Wednesday night, they can get either on Zoom or they can come here in person.
Mm.
And there's a counselor led group that's part of their aftercare, actually.
Wonderful.
And then we based it off of, I mean, he can come for dinner. We are also a food pantry. So if any of the girls are struggling, they come and get food from us.
Yeah.
But it's really good for our current clients to see these girls coming back and say, hey, yeah, it was a struggle. And, but I'm still clean. And we have a girl every week. She's been coming out. And she goes, yeah, I got sanctioned again, but she's back. She hasn't picked up. She hasn't used.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, she continues to come back. So that really is a powerful tool
Mhm.
for our current girls
Mo-
to hear that.
Most definitely. It's always nice to hear other people that have gone through the same journey to say, I can do that as well. And there is hope.
Yep. Well, and like I said, when they're going through these struggles with CPS or whatever they're trying to do in their lives
Mm.
and they don't pick up, they just keep working a program. And I always say, I'm a member of that no matter what. I'm not going to pick up no matter what. And to get those girls to buy into that concept, and look at us in that transition groups as hope dealers.
Mhm.
We're trying to give them hope that this is doable. And that's where the expertise, like with Wendy, comes in,
Mhm.
because she's been there. She's done that. She's been in the house and
Yeah.
lived in our sober living. And
Yeah.
that's back in the day when we had it. When did that end? Oh, that ended in 2012. Okay.
Oh goodness. So was that
Yeah.
pulled because of funding? Just a funding issue, would you say, within your county?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's. I wonder what the ramifications of that was when that ended. I mean, that's pretty huge, isn't it?
That's huge.
Mhm.
I've gone to judges, the drug courts, and said, you guys want us to treat them, but then you want us to just treat them.
Yeah.
That's not a good combination
Yeah.
when we're first getting out. So let's go together. Let's buy out residents together. But
Yeah.
funding's the issue.
Yeah, sadly so. But the work you're
Yeah.
doing is absolutely incredible. I'm loving hearing what you do at the Beacon.
Mhm.
You have a very extensive childcare policy. Can you tell us a little bit more about this and how it works when you have childcare issues?
Okay. Wendy can speak on that better than me, I think.
Excellent.
Actually, what we do is we first and foremost find adequate housing for those children,
Mm.
whether it be with another parent or relative, friends, to have them get 24/7 care. Um, we have had children here at the Beacon House. They go to daycare during the day, and while mom is in group and working on her program, and then they come back and are integrated with the rest of the clients. And what I've seen in my 7 years here is the women come in pregnant, and then we have a separate room, and they have the baby, and then they live here with the baby until we can get them to a safe, sober environment. And we are very fortunate to have a program called New Beginnings here in Fond du Lac
Mhm.
that will take the mom and the infant right from Beacon, and they can live there for, I think, up to a year.
Mhm.
And that's just funded by New Beginnings. There's no fee. So, right.
Wow.
And it's all volunteers,
It's all volunteers.
all volunteers.
Goodness me. Well, I
Yeah.
certainly applaud that in a very, very big way. I really do. Um,
Yeah.
it seems like you've got everything, you're working as best as you can within your means, and what you're offering is it's very inspiring. It really is. And this is the
Thank
first
you.
time that I've had a women only addiction service on my podcast, and it's just wonderful to hear this. It really is. Um, last couple of questions to you. I ask all of my guests this because I have some very interesting and varied answers when I've asked this. But can you tell me what your opinion of harm reduction is and how it plays such a pivotal role within recovery?
Sure. So harm reduction has been thrown around for a long time now. I work with a woman on the outside. Her daughter, I actually had her daughter as a client when she was an adolescent,
Mm.
ended up dying from a fentanyl overdose. And she has taken this, um, it's called Megan Kelly's Foundation.
Mm.
Bev Kelly is the mom.
Mhm.
And she goes all over the states and the country. She's currently down in DC lobbying. And she's a huge harm reduction. Like her daughter was in jail
Mm.
and they wanted to release her because there was so much crowding.
Mm.
And they were trying to find her a place to get into treatment. So they decided to put her out on the bracelet monitor.
Yeah.
And she was dead of an overdose 2 days later. So her mom tirelessly leads this for harm reduction.
Mhm.
You know, we've all come to accept that even us long-term addicts, the battles about, well, Suboxone is a drug, methadone is a drug. I truly believe if it's used appropriately, like we say it is, it's a 2-year program, not like it's like the 5, 10, 15, 20 years that people are currently on those drugs.
Mm.
That works for that harm reduction. It's about getting that person well enough to be able to live life on life's terms without the drugs. I'm all in favor for that.
Yep. Definitely. I completely agree with you there. 100%.
Yes.
You've just said that very sad story of the woman that had the daughter die
Oh, that
very
daughter.
sadly. Is fentanyl a massive problem in Wisconsin? Because it seems to be such a problem all over the country. Are you finding it in your state as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When a bad batch comes into the area,
Mm.
nothing for 6 to 8 people to die in that county alone. So they put it on the scanner pages, the police department does, and they're honest about it. They're saying there's a bad batch of fentanyl going around,
Right.
you know, but and often those cases, we just had one. Didn't matter how many times they gave him Narcan, he was gone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty powerful stuff floating around out
It
there.
really is. It's very, very scary. I always ask this question because it seems so prevalent within the whole of the United States, and now sadly it's moved over to Europe now, from what I hear. Um, so last couple of questions. Have you got a message to anyone who's listening to this podcast who's going through addiction themselves or has a mental health crisis? Have you got what message have you both got for anyone going through this?
Well, seek help.
Yep.
Know that it's a disease. You are not a bad person. You have a bad disease. And there's plenty of us therapists and treatment centers that are passionate about what we do. And you gotta come in, you gotta be open minded, willing, and honest. And I think that honesty is a big key thing because, who wants to admit I got my kids taken away, I lost my job, I lost my marriage, I embarrassed myself.
Mhm.
But it's that approach with that and I'm a straight shooter as a counselor. I don't want to see somebody else leave here and end up, dying from addiction. And I think that's a really powerful tool. If we can get the person here, we have very good success rate. Very good. So, and holding them accountable. And I say, you're all worth it.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what you did, who you did, how much you used, when you used,
Mhm.
give us a chance.
Yeah.
Let us help you. And I always tend to joke about, give us those 90 days. If you don't like where you're at after the 90 days, I will refund your misery. I will remind you what you looked like when you came in.
Mm.
So,
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that. That's a perfect way of ending my
so
questions. But how can people contact you and find your service online? So I'd love to just mention this.
we're located at Beacon House, FDL.org, and that lists all of our services there and our phone number. Um, our number is 920-923-3999. We love to answer questions and help as many people as we can. So,
Marvelous.
and we've gotten people from out of state often, especially when they're self-paying because they don't have to worry about the insurance crossing over state lines
Yeah.
and county funding and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So,
So you have people coming from out of state as well. That's
oh
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
That's great to hear. That is great to hear.
yeah.
Is there anything else that I've might not have mentioned, or is there anything you'd like to tell us before we end this podcast? Have you got any plans for the future at all?
Oh, we do.
Please
We
tell.
are we are in the middle of our kitchen remodel. The house is how old? What is our house? In 1900.
Mhm.
Yeah, big old beautiful Victorian. And then how many years ago did we do the remodel? 2018, something like that.
Mhm.
So we doubled the size, and this half is all brand new. Our offices, our group room,
Mhm.
our mental health room, um, and so, and we've got basement repairs lined up. We're gonna do some, it's the old fieldstone brick or stones in the basement.
Yep.
We got to make sure everything's shored up, and
Yep.
with the cost of living, and we haven't raised our prices in a long time,
Mhm.
but yet everything is so costly to repair and do. And then our biggest thing on top of our list is that sober living, and we are actively looking.
Mhm.
We got a bunch of feelers out there to some of the philanthropists in the area
Mhm.
and just trying to get I don't know, a campaign going, so to speak,
Mhm.
that this is very, very much needed.
Absolutely.
And we are not for profit.
Mhm.
We are a not for profit
Yep.
facility. So,
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Wendy and Julie, for joining me today. I really am very impressed with what you're all doing at Beacon,
thank you.
and please send my very best wishes to your team because you sound like you're doing some amazing work in your state and just incredible. And I've really enjoyed talking to you today. Thank you so much, both of you.
Great. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks very much.